Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chet.
And we've got Richard Betts here. And we have Dr. Lori. Can you pronounce your last name?
Asztalos, or Dr. A, for short.
Okay. And you've lived in Chicago, I believe?
Yep, I grew up here, and then I moved away. We lived in Illinois for like 9 to 10 years, and then we just came back a few years ago.
Welcome back.
So, thank you.
To the Valley. And she's now here at Camelback Dermatology.
Exactly.
And do you have a second practice as
So I also work at Center for Dermoplastic Surgery and transitioning over to Camelback Derm more often. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people want to find you, how do they find you?
Go to Camelback Derm. I'm more available there.
And that's 44th Street in Camelback.
Yep, right south of Camelback, exactly.
And we were just talking about how it's important to get your skin checked regularly. I'm actually really behind on that. I haven't been checked in a few years. So you were saying you should get in there, get it checked.
Yes.
Because living in Arizona, we have so much sun. So.
Yep.
How
Absolutely.
often
So
shall we go?
once a year, everyone should get their skin checked once a year.
Okay.
If you have a history of skin cancer, then more frequently, usually every 6 months, or melanomas in particular, maybe even every 3 months.
So if my mom and my dad and my sister have had different things removed, skin cancer, I don't know how many times they've had it done, but I know they've had removals. Does that mean I should be more aware and getting in there?
So once a year, even if you have a family history, and I usually get more concerned about family history of melanoma in particular, because that can have a genetic predisposition to giving you a melanoma. But basal cell, squamous cell, those other ones, it's usually the sun. So, but either way, once a year.
Okay, so cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Richard, what are we drinking here? You picked this.
I think that's a C sharp. So here's a fun little sparkling wine that I found at Trader Joe's. My favorite place to buy, interesting wines that you can't find anywhere else. So this is from southern France. It's called Opaline or Opaline. Look at the bottle.
It's
lovely,
beautiful.
isn't it?
Gorgeous.
Really
Yeah.
fast. And it's a Pinot Noir, 100% Pinot Noir, Brut Rosé. So it's a sparkling wine. And from southern France, and if you taste it, it's got a nice color, kind of a very light color, so it didn't get a whole lot of skin contact. We call this salmon or onion skin, this kind of light color, and when you taste it, it's just delightful.
Does it give us a
It
description?
looks like a good pool wine, is it?
Absolutely.
This is a perfect brunch wine. It's only 11.5% alcohol, so it makes it a good brunch wine.
Mimosa.
Absolutely, I would use this for a mimosa.
You would or wouldn't?
I would.
Oh, it's so
Sure,
good.
why not?
So good.
It's
Very
fine by
light,
itself.
crisp.
It's delicious.
Fruity.
And Trader Joe's does it again. I don't know how they do it, but they always get the most amazing values in wine.
How much was it?
Well, how much would you just tasting this? You don't know where it's from. Where would you pay for this?
I would pay $15 for it.
Okay.
I did not try it yet, but just on how nice the bottle looks, I would guess it's like a $30 or $40 bottle.
It looks like that, doesn't it? What do you think?
I agree. Somewhere in the 20s, I would think.
What if I told you, drum roll,
Drum roll.
that this is under $10?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So my dance friend Janice
Under $10.
asked me to find wines that are
well, here
under
you go.
$10. There we go.
And Trader Joe's has a lot of wines in that category. In the just under $12 or $10 and under $15. This probably, how long will this last on the shelf? Who knows? People find out, oh man, and they snap it up and they start buying it. It'll be gone in no time at all. So anyway.
Well, and later on the show, we're going to be talking to Sam Pillsbury. He's a local vintner and movie director, producer, 38 something movies or so. And he lives here in town. And what do you think of his wine we'll be drinking?
Well, Sam makes impeccable wines down in Wilcox, and they're natural wines. They tick off all the boxes for what is a natural wine, and the quality is exceptional. They're impeccable wines. They're very, very good.
His operation is even organic. They don't go through all the process of being
It's
certified.
not certified, but
Their process
organic.
essentially is,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Yes.
essentially, that's true. So
So I am excited to hear all about what I need to be doing for my skincare. And Dr. Lori brought some sunblock. There's a lot of controversy about should you wear sunblock? Are the chemicals in sunblock more dangerous than actual sun? Are you better off going out early in the morning and having just your bare skin, no sunblock? Chet, you had a question about that.
Well, I think the dermatologist might know more than me about this, but Isn't it important to be very specific about what types of sunblock you get? Because there have been a lot of recalls recently about different carcinogens being found in sunscreens. A lot of like mainstream brands like Aveeno and like Coppertone and stuff. So like really widespread used sunscreens have
not only sunscreens but all kinds of things that you put on your skin. It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
So one of the issues was the spray stuff. So a lot of the sprays, and it was all the spray sunscreens because they had that like the benzene in it. They found as a contaminant, and so most of it was all in the sprays. And so that's why they pulled a lot of those. So I never recommend a spray. I don't think you're getting it on anyways. You're spraying it in the air. There's one actually that LTMD makes. It's AOX. They just came out with it, and when you put it on, it's a physical blocker. And it's not one of those sprays. It doesn't have any chemicals. So to answer your question, you know, they are doing studies and looking into things. There's one called, you know, the oxybenzone is one of the ingredients that could be potentially a little harmful. So I think they're trying to pull that out of sunscreens. But there's chemical blockers and there's physical blockers. And it's if you're concerned at all, just use a physical blocker. And that's why I brought this.
And what is a physical blocker?
A physical blocker means, because, you know, there's all these different brands. So what you want to do is look at the active ingredient list. And it just says zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, or iron oxide, and that's it. So this one just has the two.
Blockers. Got it.
So it's zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, and sometimes they'll put in like avobenzone or, you know, something else, and that's a chemical blocker. So anything besides those three is a chemical. So if you want to stick with the safest things,
and these are the classic.
Come and buy from me.
When I was a kid, that's what we used. Zinc oxide, and everybody walked around with white noses, right?
They're a little nicer nowadays. You know, you don't get that white. If you want to try it, you can and put it on.
But do you think we need that early morning sun with no blockers on? Do you think that's true?
I still do. So I always recommend cover what you can, and then whatever you can't cover, put on sunscreen. And even in the early morning, if you want to be in the safer zone, you know, before 10 a.m. and after 4 or 5 p.m., the UV index is less. And so it's a little safer rather than the middle of the day, but you still need something because you still have, you know, UV rays penetrating.
Well, it depends on how long your exposure is. If I'm out in the morning hiking for a half an hour, just to get fresh air and a little sun and start moving, I don't bother, frankly.
He thinks it's better.
I do wear a hat.
Put your hat on.
I do wear a hat.
Wear, you know, the long sleeve, they have clothing now with UPF in there. That's great.
So at 7 o'clock, 6:37 in the morning, I'm out for a half an hour. I really don't bother.
Yeah. But you have a history of skin cancer.
Well, yeah.
So I would.
Yeah.
Wear
Okay,
it.
well, that's what we want to know. So we should wear
I'll
it.
gift this to you.
Okay.
We should wear the sunblock then.
I think you should. Yeah, anything that's going to be exposed should be covered.
Okay.
Well, and if you're sourcing high quality sunblock that doesn't have the bad ingredients in it, then it's really not going to have that many negative side effects. But if you use low quality sunblock,
chemical.
I was reading about that there's other ones that also have hormone blockers in them, which have a ton of negative side effects on mental health. Like basically your whole body gets screwed up if your hormones are imbalanced. So
so that's that oxybenzone one that they're looking into.
So making sure you have high quality sunscreen is just as important as wearing it.
Not just sunscreen
100%.
though, any kind of skin care, lotions, etc. A lot of them just have toxic ingredients. I'm sorry.
That's true.
So that's my next question, because you being a dermatologist, us women wear makeup, and a lot of the makeups, if they're not natural, how do you feel about that?
So the word natural too, if we want to go into that space,
that's
you know, poison ivy is natural, you know, all that stuff. So natural doesn't always mean natural, and in a lot of the products, you have to put a preservative in it, and that's the thing that people are looking at, like propylene glycol. That's a preservative, and it's bad. But you have to do something, otherwise it's going to grow mold and bacteria, you know. So you have to put some preservative in it.
How do you feel about eminence? I just recently purchased a bunch of eminence. I was on vacation with my daughter, and we had a beautiful spa day at the Montage, and they carried that product, eminence, and it's from Hungary. You're Hungarian.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
We're both Hungarian, and so it's supposedly it says on every box it's organic, all natural. How do you feel about that line?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the ingredients. So
Okay.
I've heard of that brand. I've actually used a cream back in the day one time, but I like to read all the active ingredient lists, because when they write the word natural on there, it doesn't mean anything really.
Anything, whether it's
all
food
marketing
or skincare.
And what about
Exactly.
organic? It says organic.
Right.
Organic cream. What does that mean? You know, so really you want to look at the ingredients. And I think if you're trying to stay natural, if you see an active ingredient list or any ingredient list that's like this long,
That's right.
Steer clear. If it's short, it's
Right.
probably
It
a
is
little
short.
better. So it's
It's
probably
short.
a little better because they're not putting all these other things in.
And when I read the ingredients, it's everything you know, like grapeseed extract or you know, olive oil, different things that I can actually recognize.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that list that I don't know what it is.
Good. That's
Okay,
great.
so
I
that's
think
good.
if you can read it, great. But they do still have to put some preservative in there to keep it, you know, from growing bacteria.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna try Sam Pillsbury's wine next. Everybody drink up, so you can have a little taste of the
Or if you
local.
have a cup, we can pour it in
Let's
a cup.
pour it in a little cup. We'll
let's
find
see.
one.
No, well, here.
Use an
I'll just give
important
you a fresh glass.
fresh glass. That's too
Love
smart.
it. I love
That's
it.
too smart. There
Too
we go.
smart, huh?
There we go.
That's why you invite
So,
me here.
There we go. Sam Pillsbury. Here we go.
That's perfect.
This is your first AZ wine you're gonna be trying.
Smells great.
Let's get Sam on the phone. He's waiting for our call. Sam Pillsbury.
It's good.
Yeah, his wines.
buttery.
So this, it doesn't get a lot of oak. Very little, if any. It's no new oak.
Oh, really?
It's used barrels. So.
Is that more sustainable?
Absolutely.
Okay. So old oak.
Old oak. Old oak. Yeah. Well, it's just used oak. You know, new oak. When you really taste most Chardonnays, like from California, you're going to get this big oaky buttery. This is the style that people have become enamored with.
Hi, Sam. You're here on the show in the green room with Dr. Lori.
Hi.
Say hi.
Dr. Asztalos. Hello.
I wish I could have been there today, you know. Doctor, I know people, every time you socialize with anyone, they give you a skin condition. I've got polymyalgia rheumatica, and I'm taking prednisone. Every time I bang my legs, it bleeds, you know. My skin has got so thin. I have to be so careful. But anyway, let's talk about Chardonnay instead of...
Well, no, it sounds like you need Dr. A. You need to go see her. She's at Camelback Dermatology on 44th Street in Camelback. She just moved back here from Chicago.
Come see me.
Yeah, and Sam, with how much time you spend out in the sun, it's important to get it checked.
Once a year.
No,
We're
it's
muscle
it's definitely, because I've been like this my whole life, and I'll come home and my wife will say, what did you do to your leg? And there'll be this one cut that's bleeding everywhere. I really think I've got about 15 of those at the moment, and it's definitely from taking prednisone. I'm down to 3 milligrams a day now, so we're getting out of it. But anyway, let's talk about wine. Did you taste it?
I did. It was very delicious, very buttery and crisp. If I had I'm not a wine connoisseur, but
yeah, it's
good.
Well, it's very different from that sort of Napa Valley, very fat, oaky, buttery shot. It's more of a old world style that is much better with food because it's not cloying. So, for example, if you had that with barbecued salmon, all this smoke and herbs and fish oil would be cut by the cleanness and the crispness of the wine. So it's really.
So Sam, can you introduce yourself for people that have not heard of your wine and who you are? Can you tell us, give us a little bit of background?
Okay, my name is Sam Pillsbury. I was born in New England, but I grew up in New Zealand. I started making movies in New Zealand, moved to Hollywood, made 32 features, got tired of dealing with studio bureaucrats, so I bought 100 acres of land in a high altitude mountain valley in southeastern Arizona in Cochise County and planted 15,000 grapevines, and we're now winning more prizes than almost any other winery in the United States of America.
wow.
They are. They're
Cool.
winning all the awards.
Congrats.
It's my favorite wine.
Yeah, it's
And
really
it's
good.
local and it's sustainable. Aren't you pretty much organic, Sam?
Yeah, we're really close. I mean, I'm not going to go through the paperwork of being, certified, but and every once in a while we do have to resort. There's one bug that we couldn't kill with organic spray, so we use a little bit of another one. But we're pretty good. You know, we're if some really nasty something or other decides to attack my vineyard, I'm going to use chemicals if nothing else will work. So, but people generally speaking get reliant on chemicals, and then what happens is the plants and the soil, that's the only thing they can do. Like to revert to a more natural kind of crop takes years, and it's really hard work. So we never get diseases. We're really productive. I use compost. I use chicken poop. Fortunately, there's a lot of organic sprays for fungicide. Like for example, when Arizona's unusual in that it's one of the only places on the planet where there's a monsoon at harvest time. The last time we wanted to rain is then because of the big great clusters are growing. It's very fat and juicy and tight, and it gets wet. There's a risk of rot developing, and fortunately there's a whole host of wonderful organic sprays that you can use for that. And the only thing you can't really get a good organic spray for is weeds, and Roundup is a total miracle, but we won't use that. So we weed with a machine, and it's expensive, but I'm not spraying my property with Roundup. Okay.
So
Life is say, oh.
So when's your next wine dinner where you can meet Dr. Lori
We
A?
just had one last night, a huge one on the vineyard. I'm just posting on social media, but if we're having a lot of them up in our tasting room in Cottonwood.
That's where you need to go.
We've got a huge old historic manor, 160-year-old manor on 2 acres up in Cottonwood. It was built for a mine manager, and we have a kitchen and 2 chefs up there.
Yes, Sam has homes in New Zealand and Malibu and here in Arizona. He's got vineyards. My goodness, what's next?
Oh, I think I'm tapped out, honey. I think I'm gonna have to start slowing down. I drive to run this machine. I have to drive 800 miles a week, and I'm 77 years old. So I just.
But the question is, are you wearing sunblock when you're out there picking those grapes?
800 miles a week is a lot.
I've driven with him. Oh, trust
lot.
me. Do you remember when I was helping you with the wines and you'd say, jump in the car, and they drive all day?
Yeah, it's the sunblock thing that's funny. I do use some, but I just mostly wear a really big hat. I mean, it was interesting growing up in New Zealand. I was a windsurfer, and my parents had a 32-foot sloop, and we sailed around the island every summer. And New Zealand has a really thin ozone layer, and I have some skin damage now from that, but I'm not so sure I'm getting that much of it here. I don't know, but I'm pretty careful. I'm a little suspicious of a lot of sunblocks, and I don't really know how to pick the right one to use.
We just talked about it. You just stick with the physical blockers.
Which are zinc oxide, titanium oxide. What was the third one?
Titanium dioxide and iron oxide.
Okay.
Iron
Stick
oxide,
with those.
titanium.
Okay, this
And your wide-brimmed hat is perfect.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I'm really at the back. I mean, I go to my skin guy 2 or 3 times a year, and he mostly just free.
But is he as good looking as Dr. Lori A?
Okay, well, just give me 1 second, because I want to write a couple of these things down. I'm trying to recover. I get up at 4 every morning to pick food. I mean,
wow.
It's insane. So I'm just gonna go. Okay, so you said 2 things: titanium oxide,
Titanium dioxide, iron oxide,
And
zinc oxide. So those 3 are the physical blockers. So you just want to look at the ingredients, the active ingredients, and make sure it doesn't say anything else besides those 3. One of them, 2 of them,
titanium dioxide, zinc oxide. What was the other one?
and iron oxide.
Okay, when I was windsurfing and sailing, I used zinc on my lips.
Good, that's great. I mean, I think the lips are forgotten. The tops of the ears in men and the lips, I think, are an often forgotten spot. So
Yeah,
I see tons of skin cancers on lips.
And what
that's
about
right.
the top of your head if he's out there picking the vines?
So the hat.
Who wears a hat?
The hat.
He always wears a hat.
Yeah, the hat's perfect.
Well, what else we got? I can't wait to meet you. Where's your office?
I'm at Camelback Dermatology on like 40th Street, just south of Camelback.
Oh, I thought it was 44th Street.
It's 40th.
I live off 40th Street.
Come right there. It's right next to the cleaners. I've been there a month. I just
Street.
started.
Well, you know
Yes.
what,
Think
Sam,
of
we'll
that.
do another
Yes.
show with
Right
you.
Right there.
along
Because
the
she's going to
canal.
come and do a
Yeah.
show, and
Yeah.
she's
Right
going to
there.
check our
Just live
skin
across
on
the
the
street
show,
from
Yeah.
and she's also going to do some poking on my forehead. So,
I live down south of Shea off of 40th Street, so that's
Perfect.
ridiculous.
You're right there.
she's a
Just
hot
drive south.
blonde. Wait till you see her.
I can't wait.
Great.
I'm married, happily married, and 3 kids. I've got a lot of baggage.
Well, thank you, Sam, for talking to us, and we are drinking your wine, enjoying
It's delicious.
this Chardonnay. Is delicious. Thank you so much.
Try to experiment. Get the wine, wait for a few seconds, let your processing equipment try to come to terms with it, because your nose is 85% more better at picking up taste than your tongue. Then take a sip and wait. And one of the things I want you to notice, and this is what happens with wines that are made with really, really good quality fruit and have no chemicals or sugar in them. You can taste my wines and that one 5 minutes after you've swallowed the wine. That's
So
called-
true.
that's
I'm
called
still
finish.
tasting
Yeah.
it.
Called finish.
That is true.
Yeah.
And something she doesn't know is that you have really fun, cool, sexy names for your wine. Can you name a few of them that come?
Well, they're all based on real things. They're not like, I don't sit there and try to think of something witty. They're this is a funny analogy. That commercial airline crashes, there's never one cause. There's always 3 factors. Like when they coincide, that's what happens. Well, all of my wine names have 3 different reasons for their origins. Like, for example, my rosé, One Night Stand.
One Night Stand. It's called
Oh,
One Night
that's
Stand.
funny.
Is that funny?
Yeah. What's this one called?
This one.
It's just called Chardonnay.
No,
Oh.
we just call that Chardonnay.
But he has one called Wild Child. He has
Oh,
Diva.
That's awesome.
Is it
I love it.
Guns and Kisses or something?
The wines are named after the varietal. It's like it's the Chardonnay or a Pinot Gris or a Syrah. We call it that. But if it's a blend, we give them names like Rhone Red, Diva. I have a wine called Diva. One of the reasons we called it that was when we first came up with it in 2006. It was like a premiere. It was like a amazing woman. It was like some star. But the real reason for it being called that was many years ago, about 4 years before I actually made the wine, I was on my beach house in New Zealand, and a friend came and visited with her daughter, and her daughter spent the whole 3 days doing cartwheels on the beach.
How fun.
And her name was Diva, and I said to myself, I'm going to call it wine.
I
Well,
love it.
we'll have to get you next month on the show with Dr. Lori A. And we'll drink
Okay.
wines on the show and look at your skin.
I'll-
Come in a Speedo.
I'll pour wine into her mouth, and she can check my skin, and we'll do a trade-off.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sam.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's so funny.
Isn't he
Cool.
funny?
Yeah.
He's
great.
funny.
So, what percentage of your practice is devoted to dermatology as opposed to plastic surgery?
That's a
that
great
type of
question.
thing?
Oh, so because it's called
And
Center for
cosmetic.
Plastic Surgery. So the reason there's 2 plastic surgeons in the group, and so most in
Mhm.
at Center for Plastic Surgery, it's a bunch of dermatologists, and then 2 of them are plastic surgeons.
Yeah.
We don't do plastic, so I just do dermatology.
Oh,
Um,
But
really?
you
and
do
I
cosmetic
I do
dermatology.
cosmetics, so maybe like 30 to 40% cosmetics, and then the
Mhm.
rest is general derm. So I'll do skin checks.
Cosmetics, explain that.
Meaning like lasers, filler, Botox,
Oh, okay.
PRP injections, all those
Okay.
What do you think is the
Cosmetic
best
things.
anti-aging procedure that somebody can do?
procedure-wise. Well,
I want
one
to start fixing all this.
again, and top anti-aging ingredient, your sunscreen. But
Okay.
so I always, in terms of skincare, I think
Mhm.
in the morning you want to wash your face and then put on your vitamin C or some antioxidant.
So you
Your
believe in vitamin C?
100%.
Okay.
And then because you're fighting off all those free radicals from your day, so any type of antioxidant, vitamin C is like one of the best ones.
Do we do the vitamin C in the morning or
in
the
the
night?
morning? In the morning.
In the morning.
You don't do it in the morning, and then a
Interesting.
serum based I think is the best. And then you put on your sunscreen, and then at night you use your retinol, and that there alone is your.
Okay, so you do believe in the
topic
retinol?
things. 100%, yeah.
Okay,
That's-
I'm not using any retinol. Sounds like I
Yeah.
need it immediately.
So it's the only one that's going to stimulate your collagen to start growing collagen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of the best things you can use. I use it every night, almost every night.
Well, and you look great.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of collagen, that's interesting because I take collagen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
a really good collagen that's like 5 different, you know,
acids. Yeah.
in my protein smoothies every
Mhm.
day. And
Oh.
I've noticed that it seems to help my skin as well, even taking it internally.
So there aren't any great studies proving it, and so
Right.
when people ask about it, I say if you're taking it and you're noticing improvement, it's not hurting you, go ahead and take it. I
Yeah.
think there's better studies showing that it helps with joint pains and
Yeah,
things like that,
definitely.
but the absorption in skin, if you take it internally, there's not much data, but it doesn't mean it's not doing it. There's just not enough data for me to say 100%
Yeah.
recommend it, you know.
That's
But
okay. Well, I'm not surprised.
I have a lot of patients just like you who take it and
Yeah.
they say, I've noticed my hair's growing and my skin looks
Yeah,
better and all the things.
Yeah,
So go ahead and take it.
Well, I
It's not
do
hard.
believe in biotin
Mm-hmm.
because at one point I had a compromised toenail,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw so many different dermatologists, and they all recommended that I take a antifungal for my toenail
Mm-hmm.
because I got a bad pedicure. Well, it made like half my hair fall out. This
Oh,
whatever that
really?
antifungal pill
Yeah,
was.
like
Mhm.
terbinafine or something.
Yeah, so I would not recommend anybody
Hmm.
ever take that pill. And that's why, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to talk about that I had a fungal toenail.
Yeah.
And it, you know, once you have a toenail like that, your toenail deforms and it never grows back normal again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to look good anyway, even
Mhm.
after you take, you know, I think it's like 90 days you take that pill. Is that how long?
So that's typically how you do it for 3
Mhm.
months for toenails. It takes a year for your toenails to grow out. So you
Mhm.
take an antifungal medicine for about 3 months, and sometimes you have to
Yes.
take it again. But there's different ways of doing it now because it affects your liver. The hair loss thing is kind of unique. It's not that common.
Mhm.
A lot of times though it can affect your liver, and so I'll check you know, your liver enzymes halfway through. But what you can do is burst. Instead of doing it every day for 3 months, you can do it 1 week out of every month for a year, and it's not as harsh on your body that way.
Mhm.
So, and otherwise, you know, it's going to come back. Like people take it, they clear their toenail fungus, and then a year or two later it kind of comes back. So it's one of these things that are annoying.
It totally came back.
Uh-huh.
It made my hair fall out.
Yeah.
And what I found when I, you know, fast forward, tried to remedy my toenail using just soaking it in salt water. Just doing that every day, and then I took a bunch of biotin, and my hair
It
came
helped.
back.
Good.
Yeah. So I don't recommend anybody take that.
So
I'm not a
if you
doctor,
like
but
the at-home stuff, which I do believe some of that stuff works, Listerine is better than salt water. Listerine or Vicks Vapor Rub has an ingredient called thymol in it, and thymol kills fungus. And so if you want to avoid the pills, which is fine, a lot of my older patients I don't even recommend taking the pill.
okay.
You can do that stuff, but you have to do it every day for almost a year.
So, but
it
so
works.
are you saying you soak your toes in Listerine, or do you take like a little cotton
You
swab?
can do a cotton swab, or you can, you know, put a little Listerine in a cup or a plate or something and soak your toe in it for like 5 to 10 minutes a day. Or the Vicks Vapor Rub's a little easier. But you can do the cotton ball thing. Just leave it, you know, soak the cotton ball and apply it on top. That works great too.
So does it have to go inside the toenail or on top?
So the issue with the toenail, which is why the creams don't work so well, is the penetration of these things isn't great. So it has to penetrate through all the layers of the nail, which is why to cure nail fungus, you need the oral medicine. But if you want to do the soaks that are liquid based, they'll penetrate a little bit better. So you just have to be really consistent.
And then your feet will smell good too.
Yes.
Nice and minty.
Yes, absolutely. But it's a little at-home trick that actually works.
Okay, well, I love
Yeah.
that because it may be even as a preventative thing. Because I know, why is it that after somebody has like trauma, some kind of an injury to their toenail, then the next thing that happens is a fungal toenail? Why?
I don't know if it's associated.
I think it's because it
with
raises the nail.
Oh, okay.
If you hit the nail in the right way, it makes it raise up, and then stuff can get in there.
Maybe, potentially. The other issue when you do have some trauma to the nail, depending on where you're traumatizing it, if you traumatize that nail matrix, you know, where your nail fold is, that's where your nail grows from, and so then you can have a dystrophic or abnormal looking nail afterwards. But yeah, and maybe it lifts up and you get things, yeah.
So what naturally can we put on our skin that's anti-aging, you know, like long ago, before we had all the skincare, like whether it's honey or egg whites?
Yeah, people do all that
natural?
all that fun stuff. I mean, you've got your retinol, you've got stuff available now that you can do, but you know, the egg white thing, has proteins in it. What it's doing to the skin, I don't know. I know people used to do like mix
Yeah,
the egg white,
right.
put it on the skin. It tightens the skin up,
I've
and
never heard of that one.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
did it when I was
Mhm.
younger, like a teenager.
Yeah, I did it too.
Felt good afterwards. It's interesting.
Does
So
it
is there
also
anything natural that you would recommend, like vitamin E or coconut oil? Or...
So the vitamin C, vitamin E, all those are antioxidants, and that's what's going to go on in the morning.
Well, I think a really big thing too is that you need to enable your body to be in a point to do self-healing stuff like releasing HGH, which is only capable if you're getting good amounts of sleep, if you're exercising,
100%.
eating healthy, and you can't drink every day. If your
100%.
if your liver and kidneys are backed up and you're
Yes.
basically fighting alcohol poisoning, you're not going to be healing properly. And
True.
you're going to age at a disproportionate rate.
Oh, and,
All true.
and how do
All
you
of
feel
that
about
is
cannabis
100%.
in the skin?
Cannabis, like putting it topically on the skin?
Well, like the CBD, you see CBD
CBD.
skincare. You
So
see...
they're looking into it.
Mhm.
They actually published some, I think it was a few years ago in the Derm World, the newsletter that we get, and they were talking about CBD because it's so hot right now and it helps with decreased inflammation. So we know it decreases inflammation. The issue is penetration through the skin. So when you apply it on the skin, is the particle small enough to get into the skin to decrease inflammation? So that we don't know.
Okay.
But it is shown to decrease inflammatory stuff. So
Well,
Mm.
and
All
another
true.
issue related to that is that it was similar to the sunscreen issue. It was like so big and popular that there was a lot of stuff coming out that wasn't very legit.
mhm.
So yeah, I like saw a
That's
study that like only like
inevitable.
30% of the CBD products actually
Yeah.
contained like real CBD.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a bunch of them were basically like fake products.
That's
Seriously?
inevitable.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
sad truth.
People taking
Yeah.
advantage of like
The
basically
hot-
people's ignorance and
Mhm.
the fact that it's not very regulated yet. So
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
But how do you feel about people that are actually, smoking a joint or,
How it affects your skin?
Yes.
Probably not positively.
okay.
Because you're smoking. So that smoke, it's the same thing with smoking cigarettes, the same
Mhm.
idea. You're just dehydrating your skin, you're making it look old, you're decreasing the collagen in your skin.
Oh my gosh, Rachel! She just got back from Burning Man. We have to
Okay.
take this call. Rachel, we're doing the show right now, but are you safe and sound from Burning Man? Of course I can. Of course we. Say hi to everybody here on the show. This is Rachel. She's been at
Hi.
Burning Man. Rachel, say hi.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
we're
Hi.
glad you survived.
Oh my gosh, it was very interesting, muddy experience, but very, very fun. I would definitely go back.
Well, we want to do a whole show about Burning Man.
Wait, you
your
lived through
experience.
you lived through your first national state of emergency, right? It's declared a state of emergency.
Oh, it was definitely a state of emergency. It was like a humanitarian crisis. It was extremely.
Well, we want to
extreme.
do a whole show about it, but I had to take your phone call because we wanted to say we love you and we're glad you made it home alive.
Oh yeah, love you too.
and Dr. Lori A is here. She's a cosmetic dermatologist, and she's excited to meet you.
Very.
She does everything for the skincare, and she's now at 40th and Camelback Dermatology, and we're talking about how important it is for us to keep our skin covered and wear sunblock, but with natural sunblock, which has
Or physical blocking sunblock.
what are the three things? Zinc oxide.
Iron oxide and titanium dioxide. I'm going to give you a quiz afterwards.
Yes. So Rachel, we'll have to do a show because I know you love skincare.
Quiz.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
So how much time do we have left, Chase?
We're at 33 minutes right now.
Okay, so we have about another 20 minutes, and then I'll come get you.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys real soon.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love it.
So Rachel is absolutely all about natural and organic and
Yeah.
healthy, and she's the one that loves that eminence. So
Okay, cool.
it'll be. So do you feel that Botox in the long, years down the road, are they going to say, "Oh gosh, that was like unhealthy for the body," or because
I don't think
I've
so it's been around so long, but it's really funny because it's not natural.
mm-hmm,
It's a toxin
Mhm.
that we're putting into the skin. But Botox in particular has been around for like 20-ish years,
Mhm.
and it hasn't shown anything nothing
No
negative so
negative
far.
side effects?
Yeah, right, nothing.
Okay.
Except if you inject it in the wrong place and then you look a little asymmetrical.
Aren't they finding other negative long-term side effects with other plastic surgery things? Like, aren't there negative long-term side effects with like implants and stuff like that? That they like
Potentially, I don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I'll do surgeries for skin cancer and things like that, but nothing deeper beyond the skin. But you know, they used to do silicone breasts in the past. And
I guess I was just saying that there's a chance that they might find that Botox will like kind of follow that lead. I don't know.
I mean, essentially, it's on a botulinum toxin. It's like botulinum toxin that we're injecting into the skin to decrease like the talking from your nerves to your muscles, so you can't move your muscle, like botulinum.
So how is that good for your central nervous system?
So essentially, you're injecting a toxin into your skin. So what's really funny is I see a lot of people who want everything natural skincare and organic, but they want Botox.
So do you think there are any basically natural remedies that people can do to try to make their skin look full like that, or no?
Just don't move your face.
Hold still.
The RBF, right?
Well, hold on. What about Restylane? Because supposedly Restylane is from Sweden and it's supposed to be a little bit more natural, or what? What's the difference between
Restylane? Or
Restylane.
The filler product?
Yes.
Oh, that is not natural. It's a filler product.
Okay.
It's
so
like an HA made in a lab, hyaluronic acid filler.
Okay, so it's nothing any healthier than Botox.
Exactly.
Okay, because I know there's Botox, and then what's the competition for Botox?
So there's, we call them neuromodulators because they're doing the same thing. They're stopping your nerve from talking to your muscle so that you don't move your muscle. And there's 5 different ones, and Botox is one of them. One of the types. There's 5 different types.
That just doesn't sound right. There's something wrong with that.
Wait, instead of BBLs where they take the fat and shoot it into their butts, why don't they take the fat and shoot it up there?
So people do that.
Oh, they do?
They do.
Oh my god. I was like messing around.
What don't they do?
That's wild.
So what do you do fat transfers?
They don't want your
Do you
nerves
do
talking.
Botox?
They don't want your nerves talking to
Okay,
your
so
brain.
hold on. She does Botox.
Yeah.
Here, she's a doctor.
I've been doing
and
it for like 12 years.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think it's very safe, but it is a toxin that you're injecting in your skin. But it's been around for such a long time. It's very safe. They're coming out with more. I think there's another one coming out soon on the market too. There's 5 now, potentially more. But
So what's the best one?
Out of the neuromodulators?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all very similar. There's a newer one that came out called Daxify by Revance, and that one lasts a little bit longer than the others. And I think that one sets itself apart slightly compared to the other ones that last about 2 to 3 months. And then this one lasts twice as long as these other ones. So maybe 4-ish months.
Now, is it true? I've heard from many, doctors and friends that if you're on a regular basis doing the Botox or any of those kinds of similar Botox remedies, that eventually you don't get wrinkles in those areas because it trains your wrinkles to not be there.
True. So essentially, you're not moving. So what happens, if you think of a piece of paper and you fold it once and you unfold it, you have a tiny little crease. And if you keep folding that piece of paper, you get a super big crease. And the same thing with your skin. If you keep creating a fold, you're going to get those permanent creases. If you stop moving your face, then you can't create the wrinkle.
Okay, where's the needle? Let's poke it right now.
You don't get the wrinkles. So that's why it's preventative.
Next show we'll do it.
Just don't move your face.
Okay.
Just don't, or if you want the
Don't
natural
move your
approach,
face.
exactly. Just
Walk
don't move
around
your
like
face.
this.
I'm just gonna get the fat injections. No.
The fat injections are great. The only issue is if you don't like it, you can't get rid of it. So all the HA fillers, say they filled your lip or your cheek or something and you don't like it, you can use a hyaluronidase and you can dissolve it.
Oh god.
You can't dissolve the fat.
You couldn't just get on the treadmill like all day, jog it off.
I guess essentially, but not really.
You have to cut it out.
So just so you know, your grandma that lived to be 105 years old, when she was in her, early 70s, she fell off Payastawa Peak Mountain, and she had a full-on facelift.
She fell on the mountain.
Yeah. So
if you fall off that mountain, you die.
Well, she okay.
It's like a 400-foot fall. What are you
It's a
talking?
miracle.
Well,
She would be a pancake.
Okay. Well, but she fell like 50 feet or something. She rolled and she was all bloody and all damaged on her face. And she ended up having a full-on facelift after that and looked like she was like 30.
Yeah.
And she lived to be 105. So facelifts must not be that bad for you.
Well, facelifts I think are great because there comes a point where you lose your bone, you lose your fat, and you lose collagen in your skin, and your face starts to just kind of go like this. So essentially, after a while, if you do a little lift, it just brings things back.
Well, and obviously they were doing that to fix her face up if she fell. They weren't doing it for like cosmetic.
Oh no, she was funny about it. She turned a lemon into lemonade. Because she said, "Oh, don't touch my face at the emergency room." No. And then she contacted Dr. Migrai, some Hungarian plastic surgeon, and she said, "Let's just do the whole thing." And she did like a full-on facelift.
Well.
She did. She did. She looks so young. I remember it was like, wow, that's cool.
So, are there any foods or products that we haven't talked about yet that people should avoid if they want to make their skin look more clear?
Yeah.
Or like avoid acne or stuff like that.
Yes. Oh, acne. We can talk about just acne on its own. But basically, anything with a high glycemic index, so like highly processed foods, sugars, all of that stuff is going to break up your collagen and increase inflammation. So it gives you all the inflammatory skin stuff, rashes, eczema. It flares all that acne. It flares your acne. Milk products also flare your acne because of some of the hormonal stuff in it, especially fat-free milk, I think is one of the worst. But just greens, water intake, just like you were saying, sleep, all that stuff helps your skin look a lot better.
So lots of greens.
I
Lots of
consume
water.
a lot of sugar and a lot of dairy, but I feel like I like how my skin is most
Your
of the time.
skin looks great.
He's
He's also
sunscreen.
very young. How old
He's
are
so
you?
young.
27.
There you go.
So young.
You're not breaking down yet.
But I've definitely felt very lucky in like talking to friends, like, and hearing their issues they've had with their skin, and like having to do Accutane and different stuff like that, because my skin has never had that level of acne. Like, I've had random breakouts, like especially when I was in high school and stuff, but I've definitely been blessed with having good skin, especially considering I don't watch my sugar intake or my dairy intake. So
I know, and
He eats way
genetics
too much
plays
sugar.
a huge role too. Genetics, is huge.
Sure.
Can sugar cause wrinkles?
Technically, it's breaking down your collagen, so it just makes your
Interesting.
skin not as bright and broken down. And same thing with not sleeping, not hydrating, drinking too much caffeine, all the things. But
Luckily, I don't like a lot of sweets, but I do like wine.
yeah,
But I don't drink any other stronger liquor. I don't prefer it.
yeah.
So
They used to say that a glass of red wine is good for your heart, but then they came out with a study that says actually it's still alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's really
That's right.
not that great. But
It's true. Wine, red wine especially, has things in it that can be beneficial to the body,
antioxidants,
and at the same time, it's still alcohol.
Exactly.
So, which means that you need just to restrict your intake.
exactly. So the amount to consume for it to be healthy is like 4 ounces. It's less than like a full glass.
There's fine line if you want to get any.
Yeah.
But then they talk about, the French paradox. The people.
in France,
They had this diet that if they said that the red wine mitigated some of the things that they were eating, so who knows? The truth lies in there somewhere.
My grandma
French
drank a lot of
diet,
wine.
though,
Yeah.
too.
She
They
had
eat
no
much better
wrinkles.
than Americans.
Well,
I
yeah.
think.
at 105, she had
Really?
no wrinkles.
That's not true. She was totally wrinkled.
I have pictures.
She was
of her.
100 years
I'll
old.
post
Is
it.
this
I'll
post
post it.
facelift or pre?
How bad are your
No
eyes?
wrinkles.
No, she had wrinkles. She was 100 years
Post
old.
facelift, no wrinkles.
But she had her facelift in her early 70s and
Okay.
still looked great at 105.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Good genetics.
She only had one.
One wrinkle?
I mean, one facelift.
One facelift.
Because some people keep going back.
Yeah.
She only did
Oh,
a one-time
Yeah.
thing. So
It's so sad to see people who have had just too much work done.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't
Oh,
look
yeah.
So bad.
natural at
Oh, that
all.
doesn't
Very
look
true.
good.
I think
Oh, gosh.
Arizona and California.
Oh my
it's
God.
how
They
important
go a
is
little overboard
exercise
here.
for our skin?
Very important.
Okay,
So
What?
all
exercise.
Absolutely.
So
Very
what do you
important.
recommend to your patients for their exercise regime for
So
their
the
skincare?
recommendation, we don't talk about exercise too much, but the recommendation for overall health is about 30 minutes a day of physical activity
Mhm.
to get your heart up. It's more for heart health, but it definitely helps your skin also.
How about
yeah.
yoga?
You should
Because people say that
exercise-
yoga.
You
is
should
really-
exercise your face too. Look at
No, you don't want to exercise your face. Remember,
this,
no
yeah,
wrinkles.
no wrinkles.
Don't
You
move
don't
your
want to
Can't
move your
exercise your
face.
face, so keep it.
So what about neck exercise?
Yes.
I've heard that you can do neck exercises. Is that true? to like strengthen your neck.
I don't know about that.
Like if you Google it, it says that
Don't stick out your tongue.
out. Watch.
No.
Who the hell told you that?
You
Is
can
that true?
we'll do a study. N of 1. Let's
I
do
do
a trial.
exercises for my neck, like this.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, look.
So what we can do for your neck though is, because when you were doing your little exercise, you can see some of these bands that you
Yeah.
have. We can Botox those.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, and you
wait a
can smooth
minute.
out your neck a little bit.
Well,
Smooth it out, huh?
So
Really?
one exercise that's actually verified from Jeff Cavalier from Athlete X to hit your neck flexors is if you go on a bench, like a weight bench, and you hang your head off the back, and you pinch a tennis ball or lacrosse ball into your sternum, and then you put like either a 2 or 5 pound weight on your forehead and brace it with both hands. No, this is the only way.
Elaborate.
This is the only way to actually hit your neck flexors.
Yeah.
But if you want to avoid getting the turkey neck, this is actually the exercise to
Turkey
do.
neck, like this.
Wait,
Yeah.
what do you do again? A weight on your
Well,
forehead?
okay,
a
you can
tennis ball?
look up Athlete
I
X
love it.
neck workout. But Jeff Cavalier covers how to do it with proper form and do it safely. But yeah, you can actually work out your neck
Cool.
flexors to avoid getting it. It's a massive thing for posture too, especially if you have a long neck. I have a really long neck, so I have to do this in the gym.
He's
Yeah.
big in training.
So
Yeah, I
So
love
if you ever
it,
need a
'cause I don't
trainer,
know it. Yeah.
you could do
I
a
might.
trade. I'm serious.
I
You
hit
could be,
40.
well,
yeah,
that's
he's a
big.
great
And
trainer.
then for hitting the other sides at the back of your
He's very
core,
strict, too.
who's
Yeah.
strong
When
is
I-
planks.
I look
of
at
course.
when I do his
Planks are
training.
great.
Yeah.
But
I
I've been,
love playing. I do
I was
that.
out of
So
town
fun.
and I
Yeah, exactly. So
injured-
planks are also a
I
neck
have a
workout.
T-shirt
very strict about
that
it.
says.
Okay, so
love it.
planks are good for it.
I like
Wait,
it.
oh, so planks are good for the neck too.
Planks are very good for your entire core. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your
And
neck.
but what about
Cool.
yoga? Because you're getting all that blood flow. Or what about those tables you lay on that put you upside down? How do you feel about that?
I don't know if there's been any studies or data showing what that's doing. You know, you're increasing blood flow when you're upside down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Inversion
I'm
tables
not
can
sure.
be good for herniated discs. They can help.
Oh.
Yeah, they can. They're
I
one
can
of the.
see that.
Yeah, they're one of the
for
things
sure.
that can actually help you cure a herniated disc without having to go to a doctor. Like if you can find where you have this specific like disc that's popped out, you can go on one of those tables and like relax with deep breathing and potentially get it reset. Some people still need to go to a doctor, like a chiropractor, get
That's
that
what I was
fixed.
gonna say. It's more chiropractor
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
In terms of
inversion
skin.
tables are recommended by a lot of trainers. Like John, who we've had on the show, has one. So
Mm-hmm. And then last question I have, because I think we only have how many more minutes?
13. Well, until an hour, so it's at 47 right
So
we have like 8 more minutes.
We're supposed to go to 54.
now.
it's 8 more minutes.
8 minutes.
Okay. So, question. I know I've never done this, but I know a lot of people that do that needling. What do you
Okay.
think of the micro needling?
Microneedling, I
Yes.
love microneedling. So the
Okay.
way I love microneedling is doing it I like the one with radio frequency better. The one with the needles is fine too. I think you just need to do a lot of sessions for acne scarring. It works really great. But what they're doing now is doing like drug delivery through devices, and so you can do a laser or a microneedler with radio frequency, and then put like PRP on top or Sculptra on top
And
to
what's
kind of
PRP?
stimulate collagen. PRP is platelet-rich plasma. So you take we draw your blood out and then we spin it, and you take all of the platelet-rich plasma out or your growth factors, and you either inject it into the scalp. You can do it for hair loss. You can use it with lasers or microneedling on the face to get it to penetrate in, and just the whole goal is to stimulate that collagen. You just keep wanting to do that.
Okay, so
it's
that
all about,
I know that would be a
all about
whole
the
different
Degradation
show.
and increase production of it. Yeah.
So I know it's a whole show that we could do on
Oh yeah.
hair loss and,
Mhm.
and creating more hair.
Mm-hmm.
But can we just touch on that for a few minutes? If somebody is starting to find
Mm-hmm.
that they're losing hair in their shower or whatever, what are some tips that you can give to us that
So one,
can prevent that?
the internal stuff. So prevention, stress, decreasing stress. Stress is a huge factor in hair loss.
Okay.
And then aging too. If it's a part of your genetics to lose your hair, it's really hard to fight that off. But there are things you can do, like supplements are great. Nutrafol is the one that I usually recommend. Viviscal is another one, but those ones they've actually done clinical trials showing it helps. So if you were to pick a supplement, I'd pick one of those.
Is that a natural supplement or not?
No, it's kind of like, so when you brought up biotin earlier, we could talk about biotin. I don't recommend biotin anymore because
Really?
what they found is It interferes with some of the enzymes when you go get your labs drawn. So say you have a heart attack and you go to the hospital and you're on biotin and they draw your blood. It interferes with one of the enzymes where they process the lab work. And so your levels are off. And so your troponins potentially are wrong, which show, you know, are you having a heart attack? And so I don't recommend biotin for that reason anymore.
Okay.
And in all of the years that I was recommending it, you know, in training, all the studies didn't show great proof that it helped too much. And so Nutrafol, Viviscal, they use other ingredients, not just biotin, to help with hair growth. And so it's a little bit overall better.
Okay.
And then the other stuff you can do, like procedural things like PRP injections, where you come in once a month for about 4 months and you inject the PRP into your scalp. That really stimulates growth. And then you come in like 4 times a year after that for maintenance.
And so that's your own blood platelets being injected back into your head.
Exactly. Okay. And then exosomes are huge now. So you can do a whole topic on all of this, but exosomes, injecting exosomes in the US is not FDA approved yet. They're putting in creams, but in Europe and things like that, they do inject it also for the same idea to stimulate growth. Light caps are another great thing that if you do it consistently can really help. So there's a ton of stuff out there.
What kind of light?
Like red light. Have you seen those hair loss caps?
Oh, really?
Those can be pretty helpful.
Well, let's see. Does Richard have any tips? Because your hair looks amazing.
That's true.
And for a 55-year-old guy, your hair's looking great.
My tips are be born, you know, into a family where your maternal grandfather died and still had hair.
Yes.
That's my tip.
Genetics. That's what genetics is number one.
Right.
Yeah.
Find a brave and drop.
Yep. And usually for men, you know, when you start to recede and it's kind of that permanent loss.
And of course, I take wine and
Inject
I do
it in
wine
your head.
shampoos too. I didn't mention that, did I? The wine shampoo. Hey,
It works. It works.
Try, right?
I love it. It's an antioxidant, right?
But when you say the number one thing that is the most harmful is worrying or being stressed.
Exactly.
But if you can, and how do you tell your patients to decompress so that they're not stressed?
I mean, everyone has their own way, you know, doing exercise decreases stress, decreases your cortisol, what you eat, you know, there's a whole bunch of things that we can talk about decreasing stress, and there's a lot.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there, because my mental health is 100% correlated to how much I work out. If I don't work out, I just go crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Don't be stressed about every little wrinkle, okay?
Yes. True.
Yes.
And we can fix it. If it stresses you out, we can fix it.
Exactly.
Hey, I have a lot of friends that go and do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I need to start doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we can do like.
I love it.
Let's make me look young again.
Okay, I love it. We'll do it.
So, bottom line, the skin is the largest organ in the body.
True.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
And just think about that. Now, how often does the skin regenerate itself, too?
Oh, back to the science. I think it's, what is it, every 100 and so days your whole epidermis slots off?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to answer the question.
No, we have about 1 minute left.
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up.
That's an interesting thing to remember. The skin is the largest organ.
It is
so
the
take care of
largest organ. Take care of it, exactly.
Right.
So take care of that skin, wear that sunblock, and then where is your practice again? What's your practice called again?
So I just transitioned over to Camelback Dermatology from CDPS. So on 40th Street, just south of Camelback. Call and make an appointment. We'll do all the things.
Get your skin checked.
Get your skin checked. Wear your sunscreen.
Check out next month's show. Well, to be determined what we're going to talk about. But we'll always touch on something different that's exciting. So,
I have a question. Can people with Botox still smile?
Sure, I'm smiling.
Oh, good. I was worried about it. I was like, what do you mean? You want to go around with a blank face?
We're not Botoxing that muscle.
No.
So if you're going to give somebody one tip, we're in closing, what's one tip, the most important thing, or 3 things that somebody can do to have
I say sun protect your skin from the UV rays. That's the most damaging. And actually, if you want, Google this photo if you want to see I should have brought it in, but there's a photo of a truck driver where, you know, the left side of his face was exposed to the UV rays for years and years and years, and he's got a million wrinkles on this side, and this side is smooth, and that just shows you what the sun does. So sun protection is
That's
huge.
a great ending to this.
Yeah.
So basically, stay out of the sun. If you're in the sun, cover it up.
Cover it up. Wide brimmed hat. Wear your sunscreen. Your glasses.
Don't get sunburned,
You don't want to be a two-face.
Exactly.
And drink Sam Pillsbury wine.
Yay.
Saving the planet
One show
one
at
show
a
at a time.